All right, so welcome everybody to today's sourcing collaboration training call. Today we are joined by 3 members of the Syngenta delivery team. We have Chris Liang, who has been with the Syngenta team for approximately 4 to 5 months now, so he's relatively new to the Syngenta team, but he has been working in the HR field for over 15 years. He's worked over in at MNC, GlaxoSmithKline, Draeger Medical, and a variety of other organizations. He handles the delivery for Syngenta in China. He's the HR head, and we welcome him. We also are joined by Leo Kong. He is a recruiter for Syngenta. He's been with us for a year and a half supporting Syngenta. And he has over 4 years of recruiting experience. So he's primarily supporting China's research and development function, but he also works on other variety of positions. He's a big fan of Kobe Bryant, and he plays basketball after work. And then finally, we're joined by Lacey Zhu, and she is a member of the sourcing engine team. She's a talent sourcer, has been with the program for 2 years. She's got sourcing experience nationally and internationally, and the 3 of them will be speaking to you today on recruitment, success stories, and challenges that they face supporting China. And what we'll be doing is we'll be going through the entire presentation. It'll probably take about 30 to 40 minutes, and we will leave time at the end of the presentation for Q&A. I will keep my chat function open on GoToWebinar. That's where your questions could be typed in, and you can ask any one of our panelists today the questions. I'll read them off so that we can all hear the question as well as hear the answer. So without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and hand this presentation formally over to Chris, and Chris will be starting the webinar presentation now. So Chris, take it away.
Thank you very much, Deborah, for your kind introduction. And this is Chris Liang from China, our China's STA team. And it is our very great pleasure to be here to share with you all of our China's information and our China STA's practice. So we put the Great Wall picture in the front so everybody can see that. It is China's symbol. I think everybody knows that. So what China looks like in the eyes of foreigners. So I talked to many of foreign colleagues before. The first thing they think about China is Chinese food, I think, right? And I also asked them, the favorite one is Beijing duck, always. And also, many of foreigners, they know our China have a very long history and culture. We have a very unique culture, and you can, many of foreigners, they come over to China to see those ancient great buildings and the great words, forbidden cities, etc. So the third one is in a foreigner's mind would be very large population. So how you can imagine 1.3 billion people in China here now? I take an example that in Shanghai, maybe you can imagine only in Shanghai, one city, we got over 20 million people. So you can imagine how many people here. And then some of you maybe know China is very fast but developed economy here. This picture you see is took by a photographer in Shanghai. You can see this all skyscrapers in Shanghai and the fast-moving space of the city. But over all those good things, we also have some bad things and problems. Sometimes you can hear some news in Beijing without very heavy air pollutions. You can see this picture. This is a very big problem of us. It's because the fast-moving business, fast-moving industries. But now China is trying to solve that. So all those pictures you can see now makes many of foreigners imagine to China. And today we're gonna give you more information about how the China, our STA job is doing, how we did those jobs. Next, please. Yeah. And what exactly happening in China now? From this, you can see that this is the World Bank 2011's report. It shows that global GDP already exceed 74 trillion in 2015. But U.S. got the first one. It's count around 25% of the whole. China, as a following now, has been raised to 115. The number is also count for around 23% of the whole 500 list. And this is also the in past 14 or 15 years is consistently increased number. So you can imagine how fast China's space is going. Also, there's a lot of implication on our recruiting job in China. It brings us a lot of challenges and a lot of implications as well. Thank you. Next one. Here I put a survey from Aon Hewitt report. I think Deborah knows that very well because she was a very senior expert there. And this report shows from a large industry surveys from many companies, and expect in 2017, all the companies in China headcount would increase a lot. You can see the first group of the column that shows the overall company's headcount increase, which means, okay, if our company have in 2016 they have only 1,000 headcount, but at the end of 2017 they're gonna have 1,100 headcount, which means a lot to our recruiting job. And the second and the third group of columns, it shows the first layer and second layer of the China city. Like the first layer, we call that very huge city like Beijing, Shanghai, you know that. Recently, the speed of the increase is slower down, but the second layer cities in China is catching up. You see the higher speed of that. So from this, you also can see our job for recruitment is very heavy, and we have a lot of job to do. Next, please. Yeah. So for people who work for Syngenta's business, they must know that there's a China deal coming. In this year, in May, okay, actually China finished the acquisition. Yeah, so we just talk about the China deal. It means a lot to the whole agriculture industry in China. According to some news, Syngenta's deal will drive a lot for the modernization of Chinese farming. And before the recent year and the past years, China's agriculture relied very heavily on food imports. But now the China deal to acquire Syngenta to make a lot of change, which means, okay, Syngenta's business is going to very much grow in China. So we can predict that in the future, in the coming 1 to 3 years, we're gonna have a lot of more new hires, a lot of new challenges, and this year we have already have some more research scientists, like R&D people, to join us as a Syngenta's expert. So this shows our trend, our business trend, and our recruiting trend. Next one, please. So many challenges, but what kind of challenges really related to us as a recruiting expert, as a STA team? As a summary, we see in China, the first thing is there's always a lot of changes, always a lot of uncertainties here. Sometimes you just cannot fully predict, cannot fully prepare, but we have to do. The second is the demand and the supply. Always there's a gap there. There's a huge demand to talent. There's always short of talent supply in China. So how we fulfill this all those gaps, how we get the qualified talent in China. This is also our key challenge. The final one is how we can deal with all those competitiveness. You can see that local companies is growing very fast. It's competing with MNCs. They also have become very giant companies. How our team can deal with these competitors, and how we can build up of our capability and competencies to better fulfill our job. So all those key challenges, we STA China team has to face that, has to deal with that. We have to find a way to win that talent war in China. Next, please. So talking about how and what we do as STA Syngenta recruiting team in China to win this very much talent war in China. Basically, we have several ways. We're gonna talk about details in next several slides. The first is the new technologies. We always found that there's a lot of technologies we can utilize, we can apply in our recruiting job. But also there's a lot of difficulties here because in China, you know, China government is very strictly forbidden the Google search, Facebook, such kind of search engines. There's a firewall there. We cannot go on search on Google. So we have to find a way to deal with that, to see how we do, how we can fix these difficulties. And later on, I'm going to tell you that we have another search engine in China called Baidu. We use that a lot. It's similar as Google. The second we are doing is, it's actually not what we are doing. It's together with our IBM APAC region and also now the global sourcing team. Okay, we got a lot of support resources from there. By doing that, we can leverage Syngenta's team to explore our talent options. And we got some returning nationals as well. So this, I would say, without all those support, all those resources from global sourcing and the APAC region, we cannot do that alone. And the third one, I would say, is we are trying to do more forecasting. We try to allow us to predict future more, and by doing and building up our talent pools. So later, I'm going to further explain how we did that to build up our talent pool. The fourth point we are doing is to see how we can expand and how we can integrate our sourcing and the recruiting channels. Actually, there's a lot of channels we can use, but what kind of channels, what kind of ways we can use, we can do is the best one. This is also we are trying our best to do. And the next one we are doing is just what I say is building and upgrading our team capability. We try to equip them with more skill and knowledge through a lot of activities that are some meeting skills, like to be a real consultant to the HR people, to the hiring people. So with that, we can get our team's job more efficient and with high quality. Finally, we also have some employer branding to strengthen our external branding reputation, to enhance our candidates' experience, and further attract them, inspire them to be our candidate to join Syngenta. So this is the 6 ways we are doing to win the talent war in China. So next one I'm gonna to further explain you for each ways we are doing. The first we talk about the new technology a lot. I don't know how many people knows that in China we got a thing called WeChat. According to some data from last year, the WeChat user in China is around 0.6 billion. It means over a half of population in China, they are using WeChat now. So WeChat now in China is very powerful. It's just like in your country, you use WhatsApp, you use Facebook, but in China, even almost every people they got the WeChat. So this is our very much new technology and very much popular tool we are using for that. And by using that, we got the mobility, because we can use the WeChat in our mobile phone and also in our computer, laptop. So we can do that in a remote way, do any of communication in a remote way. And also we use visualization way, like video conference, to do our job as well. This is also a new technology utilization. So by using all those social technology, we can reach the talent very fast, and we can talk to them very efficient. We can even they are just in the corner, in some very far away corner of the country, we can reach them. And also through that WeChat and the mobility, we can target the groups of the potential candidates. We can target what we want, who we want. So this is very good for us. Also, we see a lot of flexibilities and reachables through that kind of technology. And by using that, we can arrange interviews anytime and by any kind of locations. Yeah. So this is our new technology side. Next, please. So only have a WeChat. maybe you kind of got the real idea of how we use that. So at this page, I'm gonna invite Leo, our recruiter, who are based in Beijing, in China, and in SBC, our research center, to tell you a little bit more about how we use WeChat in SBC as a practice, as a case study. Leo, please.
Okay, thank you, everyone. And as we can see that in this slide, we have two pictures. That one is our posting on the WeChat Vision, another one is the PDF one. Actually, just like Chris mentioned, just like above slides, we have no Facebook or other Google, so we have WeChat. The internet in China was growing very fast, so we are trying to use the WeChat to promote our posting. So actually in SBC, the R&D center, so we once we have a new position, we will we will work out a WeChat vision and post it on the WeChat. The hiring manager and other researchers can deliver this posting to outside Syngenta, and we can get more recommendation. So that's what we need. And actually, how about the result of using the WeChat posting? Actually, I can share our data with you. In the first half of 2017, we have hired about 17 researchers in China for China R&D function, and at least 3 candidates are hired, or they are in the first time they heard their position is by the WeChat posting. And for the intern hiring, actually in R&D in the first half, we have hired 6 interns. All of them are delivered those in posting the job information by their teachers. So in China, we actually use this posting to deliver our posting more faster and more directly. Okay, thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Leo. So Leo told us quite a lot of papers and details about how we use WeChat as a successful practice in SBC. But maybe it's not enough to only use WeChat, only use new technologies. But also we need a lot more support. This is what we got from APAC region and the global sourcing. Next, please. This page is going to tell us what kind of support, what kind of resources we got from APAC region and global sourcing. Actually, Lizzie is our delegate sourcing specialist in China, and actually Deborah's team as a global sourcing team, they also did a lot of contribution to us, for us. There was a lot of support. And so this one, we also, you can see that we use IVH as our powerful tool a lot in China to collect more CVs, candidates, and also help us to see all those detailed figures to sourcing and screen. So for this one, I also want to invite Lizzie as our sourcing specialist in China to give us more impression on AVH, how we use that, and what's the figure now.
Hey everyone, this is Lacey. First of all, I would like to say thank you for all the team in the group, and thank all team members here in China, because here are some very significant numbers that I would like to announce. Is that we've been building up the numbers, the Chinese candidate data pool from 0 to nearly 5,000 candidates here in China. It's quite a shout out numbers here. I'm quite happy about that. And second, I would like to say that we've been successfully building up the business mode partnership with overseas recruiters and the recruiters here based in China. Number three, I would like to say that we've able to build up the talent pool based on functions, job differences, the rural areas, and overseas Chinese. We'll have a very, very specific pool based on that very specific area. Number four, I would say that we've able to utilize all the database, not just in China, but on the global base. So, all right, back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Lizzie. I think this is a very exciting figure and exciting achievement we have done. And now, later on, we're gonna talk about further about aviator. They also can be used by us for our talent pool building. Next slide. And also with the support from global sourcing, we also got a lot of APAC region support. Actually, okay, I think over the years, our regional manager, Claire, she talks to us a lot about all kinds of operational things and also all kinds of skill, knowledge, and resources. And just in July, she was here in China to give us a very intensive RSM training and to let our team to better understand and practice our RSM meeting with the hiring managers. So recruiters now are very much more clearer about how the criteria of each role and how they communicate, collect the information during the meeting with hiring manager. So we, at the very beginning, through that, we can get our job, our requisition clear, and also we can do that more faster and more efficient. And also, secondly, our region, APAC region, they also have regular knowledge sharing through emails, through conference calls, through some web page sharings. So we can receive a lot of new knowledge regarding recruitment, regarding the new trends. Some of them, they are from LinkedIn, some of them from IBM. So people, our recruiter got a lot of exposure by those knowledge sharing. And the third one is cross-country experience sharing. In APAC region, across the country, we have weekly phone calls. We can share our experience. We can talk about our difficulties, and then also we can talk about some solutions. We can use some other countries' experience, like China can use India's experience, vice versa. So we can go and grow together. And finally, we have very much support from APAC region as well for some on-site and production site visit support. And actually, last month, Claire was in China. We visit our manufacturing site, our R&D center, and talk to a lot of their managers about their recruiting needs, their questions. Also, we shared our views from each other, which is very productive activities, I would say. So all those strong support from global sourcing and the APAC region make us stronger and make our job easier. So this is, we feel, is like very much appreciate for those supports. Next one. Besides new technologies and some regional supports, we also validate to do a lot of things to integrate our channels, recruiting channels, and resourcing channels. We try to expand different ways of channels in China. So you can see we got countrywide job board, which is called 51job and jobin.com. Those are, both of them are very large job board for middle and below level position. So through that, recruiters can search, screen a lot of candidates. And also we use the social job channels that what all the people knows, LinkedIn. And in China, we got a kind of a similar channels called Liepin. For this, we also can be our major channel we are using. And also in China, we got different locations of manufacturing sites. Like in Nantong site, it's very remote from Shanghai and Beijing. But in that city, we also got a local job website. So we also connect with the local job website to find the local talent, local candidates for those manufacturing sites of Shenzhen. And talk about the industry, we also trying to explore and expand more agriculture industry job board. Like you can see this farm.job 1001.com. We also sometimes use that because this industry agriculture website, some of the talent may also go on that website to find job, to search job. And one thing we have to say, all of those channels, we are now trying to integrate all those resources and CVs into Aviator. Because we see Aviator is a great tool, great website for us to use. The recruiter is getting more and more familiar with that, with the help and the support from Lizzie and from our global sourcing team. So this is what we are doing for recruiting and sourcing channels in China. Next, please. Yeah, all those technologies, support, and also channels are used by our recruiters. So our recruiters are our core competency, our core team. Okay, as soon as we got a very updated skill and the capability, we can use all those technologies. So that's our purpose and our target is so to build up and upgrade our STA China team's capability, skill, and updated knowledge. So what kind of ways we upgrade our capability? We are trying to run some workshop for the whole team in China. Okay, we try to, during the workshop, we were trying to create a learning environment for our STA team and also for Syngenta HR China. And during those workshops, we talk about a lot of critical issues, topics that happen in our practice, recruiting practice. And also we have a recruiting case discussion and to share across our recruiters' experience. And now we are also have some mechanism to have a regular team sharing meeting. Our lead recruiter, Fiona Xu, now is leading all those activities. And in some meetings, we also invite Syngenta HR, and our key stakeholders to join us. The third way we are building ourselves is also to fasten and to strengthen our interaction and communication with our HR in daily job. We are trying to establish a stronger one HR team, and we put a lot of interface with business as well to learn the business needs. For example, we had one time to share the business in Nantong site, manufacturing site, to let our recruiter know about the business and what they are doing, what their future, and also what's their plan to hiring people in the future. So that's all we are doing for our team. I believe our team is getting more stronger. Next, please. So with all those things, with all those efforts we did in the past year, and also in this year, 2017, we got quite some very pleasant achievement. I just give you some figures to show that. You see the first one, the up left one is time to hire in China for this year. Up to now, we all green side. We achieved the average time to hire date is around 40 days, which is far below those 60 days as our SLA. And also you can see the hiring volume up to date is around 137. Now I think it's 138 already. We just had another new positions filled. And from the agency percentage, agency hire percentage, you see that's only 1% of agency hirings, which means for most of those hiring, those fulfill the job with our STA team's direct sourcing. That's our STA's capabilities. And also you see the time to shortlist and the field requisitions per month. This also shows our efforts and achievements of this year. I believe for the rest of the year, we're going to perform better than last year and the before. Next one, please. Right. This is going to be my final page of the presentation. So I just put all of the numbers of our STA in China photo on. So maybe I don't expect you remember all of us, but you just see in the center, that baby. Okay, that's our recruiter. This is newborn baby. We are very happy with that. Our team is just like a family to work together and to perform better at the moment. So I would like to use this all those photos of our team as the end of my presentation. And I hope all of you enjoy that. And this is also our team's very much honor to present China's team here today. And also thank you very much for Deborah again for your great opportunity to let us to present our China's practice today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, guys, so we will open up the lines now for Q&A. And again, the way to ask our panelists questions is through the chat function on GoToWebinar. And again, you know, Chris, Leo, and Lacey, thank you so much for sharing your presentation today. It was absolutely fantastic to see and listen to, and we really appreciate it. I know that the rest of RPO probably shares my excitement around the focus that we've had on recruitment and sourcing in China. There's a lot of success stories that have been shared today. So I thank you, and I thank the entire team in China for working so diligently on the Syngenta client team. So with that said, we are opening up to questions and answers. Again, you can put your questions in the chat function of the GoToWebinar chat screen. I do know I had one question, Chris, and of course you are Leo or Lacey can answer this. I know in the U.S. there's historically been a challenge in attracting laborers and trade workers, since there is a focus in jobs, at least from a student perspective, that would require higher education. And I know with Syngenta there's a good mix of labor kind of positions as well as higher education positions like the scientist and the sales roles. What have you guys seen in terms of Syngenta's initiatives, or maybe even any other companies that would address this lag of student population getting into the trade industry or the labor industry?
All right, that's a very good question. I think Leo got some experience, especially in SBC, which is a research scientist center in China. And actually, well, now we are already seeing a lot of new trend. They are hiring like PhDs, masters, some experts of agricultural science. So we are using more and more channels like an institute. We bring a lot of connections with China's related agricultural institute and the universities. And now Leo, I think he has got around 9 universities in China to have the linkage with them, with the teachers, tutors, and the students. So through that kind of those kind of channels, we can deliver our job information, deliver Syngenta's information to them, and also can further attract them to come to us directly to apply the job. This is the first thing. The second thing is I would like to talk about is we are trying to look for some returning Chinese, because there's a lot of Chinese students, Chinese nationals, they are working in foreign countries or studying in foreign universities for agriculture, for chemical. And some of them, they want to come back to China for work. So for this case, we are trying to bring more connections with those foreign Chinese, returning Chinese scientists a lot. Through what kind of ways? Like I can tell you an example that which is also shows our global sourcing team, sourcing engine support. Last time we got a research scientist position. We got Lacey help us to, and Lacey connected to another sourcing specialist in Europe. We got some candidate from there. So this is also our way to work out that challenge.
Great, thank you, thank you. It's great to hear that the sourcing engine team utilizes everybody around the world to help pipeline for needs in China. It's great to hear. Another question came through. How often do you guys update or post to WeChat? And do you have open conversations on the platform with candidates about jobs?
Yeah. Maybe Leo, you can give us more answers about that, but I can first tell something about WeChat. When I first wake up every day, my first thing to do is to open my WeChat on my mobile phone to look at what kind of new information I have, new message I have on WeChat. So this shows you how popular, how frequently people are using WeChat.
I just want to add up something to my generation, because people who are from my generation, we just look at WeChat every now and then, and we also go through WeChat posts, WeChat news comments every night before going to sleep, when we're on the train, when we are in the coffee shop, when we're eating, wherever we are on WeChat all the time. Just to speak for my generation.
That's great. Super.
Yeah. So we are posting our job on WeChat more and more frequently in China. So like what Leo just showed you in SBC. If previously they use a flyer in paper, and now they all use WeChat as a platform to post. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. Another question. With the ChemChina acquisition, what sort of roles do you think you'll be hiring for in the future?
Yeah, we talk about this topic a lot with some hiring managers and some HRBPs a lot. But we only can say at the moment that we got quite some very difficult positions, like a research scientist, like a terminal research lead, production lead, such kind of position coming up. So we would say for R&D job, that could be a new trend, some kind of volume, bigger volume in the future in China. And also talk about the business. If Syngenta wants to do more business in China, they may have more commercial people and the marketing people. Now we have our lead recruiter, Diana. She has quite several positions regarding marketing positions. So we will say that a marketing related position will be also be a kind of high volume positions in the future.
Great, thank you. Another question that came through is diversity hiring prominent in China?
Sorry, what do you mean by diversity? Is it female or male?
Yeah, female, male, exactly.
All right, okay. Right. I can tell you, I just saw a survey report last week. Okay, it shows diversity in globally. I see China is the first country that female participate job, the percentage is the largest one. In China, it's almost all the family are dual job, which means husband and wife, they all have job. They all earn money. So this is the future of China. And also I can tell you, there's a lot of Chinese female leaders. If Deborah, you come to China, you also can be a female leader in China as well. Thank you. It's a good question.
Great, thank you. Yep, one more question. How do you guys fill positions in remote areas where the hiring manager only wants to hire locals?
First, I would say it's very, very difficult. You know, sometimes China is very huge country. It's could be 1,000 miles away from Shanghai. The hiring manager wants to hire a person. There's no even in that place we cannot find any talent. First method, first way we are doing is trying to link and connect with some local networks. We communicate with hiring managers and some like sales, commercial guys locally to see whether they have some referrals. So we use some referrals a lot. Another way is we're trying to transfer from a kind of a nearby place. Yeah, because some people in the remote area, they have the possibility to be transferred or to relocate to a kind of nearby city. So that makes the possibility larger. And the third one is like what I say, we are trying to establish some connections with local website, local job board, or even local government job agencies to find the candidates. So basically, this is what they are doing now. And so far, we see all those ways are successful. We almost find all the candidates, even it's very difficult in remote area.
That's fantastic. A second part to that question was, is education background and related work experience ever a problem in hiring people in the remote areas?
That's a really good question. I would say the biggest question is English. There's a huge gap between China, Shanghai, Beijing, and those small and remote cities. You will find that if you come to China, you will find that you have no problem in Shanghai if you speak English to find ways to work, to live in Shanghai. But if you go to inland China, very remote place, okay, you will find that it's difficult if you only use English. So this is the first thing. The second thing, okay, the education is also a thing, issue. Okay, because the large city attracts more high educated people. So we have less candidates, less high educated people in remote cities. This is also our challenge. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Well, we are at the top of the hour. We have no more questions coming in, but I wanted to thank everybody that did chime in with a question. Again, Chris, Lacey, Leo, thank you very much for this amazing presentation and for all of the answers to the questions of those that actually attended today's call. Again, thank you to our audience for attending. We will be putting this presentation and the audio in a recording. And we will send that to everybody that was registered, as well as everybody that I've gone ahead and invited to this call. Of course, feel free to share the video. As far as video in China, we will make sure that we put it on Roku or Ru2. Which one is it? Lacey, which one is it?
YouTube.
No, I always forget. I always mess it up. We will make sure it's on YouTube so that the folks in China are able to view the recorded presentation. So again, thank you guys. And with that, I call this sourcing collaboration training to an end. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening, day, afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.